Friday at 12:30 p.m. only on Bloomberg Quint.
The BJP released its 45-page vision statement for the 2019 elections today. The big highlights of the manifesto include a promise of extending the PM Kisan scheme to all farmers, not just those with land less than 2 hectares, pension schemes for farmers as well as shopkeepers, and a strong focus, of course, on national security. In fact, the first sentence of the section where the promises begin refer to surgical strikes and airstrikes. There are promises of big spends too, 100 lakh crores on infrastructure, 25 lakh crores on agriculture, etc. So how does the BJP manifesto stack up in this season of manifestos? To speak on this, I'm joined today by Narendra Taneja of the BJP. Sanjay Jha joins me from the Congress Party. I'm speaking with journalist Rasheed Kidwai and political analyst Amitabh Tiwari, who's joining us on the phone line today from Bhubaneswar. So welcome to all of you. Mr. Taneja, let me start by asking you whether there is enough of a promise here. I was listening to the press conference after the manifesto was put out, and the statements actually during that ceremony, and Arun Jaitley said that because we are already in governance, this is in a sense an extension of that. Is this more of a continuation of promises made? Are there enough new promises in your manifesto?
Well, it's a mix of everything. As you know, that that's our declared objective, that we are working towards a new India by 2022. And as part of that, there are many things which are kind of work in progress, many projects which have been delivered. While there are many which are in pipelines, there is still a few maybe on the drawing board. But our objective is basically, as you can see, that, you know, to transform India in a very significant manner by 2022. And if you look at our manifesto, we are focusing on economy a lot, infrastructure a lot, and at the same time, you know, agriculture and farmers' distress, and also, you know, small shopkeepers and traders and so on and so forth. So the idea is because, you know, development is a dynamic process. For any political party, governance is also a dynamic process. There are things that you have to address along the way. But if you look at our objective, 2022, that's what we are targeting, where India is going to celebrate 75 years of independence. Yeah. And at the same time, the work that we have done the last 5 years. But along the way, these are the things we are planning to do. But as I said, the entire process is also dynamic. In between, we find, you know, some course correction, some new things we need to add. We will, of course, continue to do that.
No, I noticed something in terms of course correction, and I'm just going to touch upon that quickly before I move on to the other panelists. It's the Fasal Bima Yojana, where you say in the manifesto that it will now be completely voluntary. Up till now, any farmers that took loans under the Kisan Credit Scheme had to, you know, be insured under the Fasal Bima Yojana, and now you've made it voluntary. Was this because of feedback from the ground? Was this turning out to be an unpopular rule, the mandatory insurance scheme?
Well, it's not exactly only feedback. You know, you have to constantly review, and at the same time, as you know, agriculture is essentially a state subject. So you also get feedback from various state governments and their experience, and including the, you know, governments being ruled by different political parties. So you have to respond to it. But ultimately the idea is that how can we make it further kind of foolproof, and how can we have it in such a way that people are, the farmers are, and their interests are well taken care of. But as I said, that agriculture is under the Constitution, is a state subject, and the feedback and the concurrence of the the state government is very, very essential, and you have to design all your schemes in such a manner that you don't face the allegations like some people have been saying, oh, only some insurance companies have been the beneficiaries, farmers haven't got anything, and you know, that kind of thing. You see the point, you come up with an idea, you address it, but along the way, if you think that you need to reform it, or you need to go for course correction, or you need to recast depending on what the various state governments have to say, you go for that. But our focus is on the, you know, total welfare of the farmers. That's our primary focus, and we will do whatever necessary in order to achieve this objective.
Okay, now before I come to the Congress spokesperson, I'm going to get the expert view in, because I'm guessing that will be a lot of back and forth. So let me just get Rasheed Kidwai and Amitabh Tiwari in very quickly for their points of view. Rasheed Kidwai, we saw the Congress manifesto last week. There was a sense that the BJP manifesto would be reactive to some extent, in the sense provide some counter to the Nyay scheme, which is the big promise from the Congress. Do you think there has been an effort to draw a contrast between what the BJP is presenting and what the Congress is presenting?
I think so. I think the BJP manifesto is very different. You look at the cover, you know, the big picture of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as an iconic figure. Look at Congress manifesto and that picture of, you know, so to say, the people of India, that kind of thing is there. Look at content, they're very, very different. Actually, you know, for any incumbent government, it is difficult to, you know, showcase Sankalp Patra or whatever, that election manifesto in a big way, because obviously people are going to ask this, that, you know, what is this kind of promises that, you know, you are now promising, and you had 5-year tenure, and you were in government in so many state governments. So why you did not do that? I mean, you look at 33% reservation for women in state assemblies and in parliament. Congress is on board, left parties are on board, BJP is on board. Why? I mean, there is no reason why it should be just a promise. If you are serious about it, then you deliver it. What is the progress, you know, relating to things like simultaneous elections, like uniform civil code? All those things have been going on since you know, 1990s in BJP manifesto. When it comes to, you know, economic issues, I think the picture is very clear. Taneja may not like it, but the situation is been like this. The glass is half empty or half full. It is for people and voter to decide whether you know, what's been delivered to them is good enough or not. I think manifesto has its own limitation, and more so when it is presented by a ruling party or ruling coalition.
Yeah, no, so of course we're having this discussion with the context of how important manifestos really are. Last time round, the BJP's manifesto came out on the first day of polling. It didn't make a difference to their electoral success, though it's generally a good idea if parties actually put out what they want to do. Amitabh Tiwari, your take on the manifesto. Is it a big push, or is it, you know, the effort also seems to be that yes, we have to put out a manifesto, it will check all the boxes, but the biggest winning point for the BJP remains their prime ministerial candidate, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true, because the slogans are Modi hai to Sarkar. What BJP is trying to portray through this manifesto, it's actually targeting its key anchor voting segments. So it has Ram Temple and Uniform Civil Code for people who have been supporting the party on the Hindutva plank. It has beefing up your defense forces and protecting the sovereignty, scrapping 35A, people who have been supporting the party on the issue of nationalism. So it has elements to woo its key voting segments, and also elements to negate the key issues like farm distress and rural distress. So Nyay has had an impact on the manifesto in a sense. So what it has done is that instead of doling out an amount to 20% of the poorest of the poor families, it has extended the horizon or extended the scope of the PM Kisan Yojana. So it will now include all the farmers. And it has also put in place a social security scheme or a pension scheme for the old age. It has also promised some 25,000 crores, if I'm not wrong, for the rural manifesto, rural development of the rural infrastructure. So as we discussed last time, The focus, thankfully, from now on will shift back to development. It has also promised an investment of 1 lakh crore on infrastructure projects. So it is a mixture of trying to keep the key voting segment happy, as well as address the key issues like farm distress and rural distress, which have been the main poll planks in the 3 state elections which were held recently.
Well, not just 1 lakh crores, it's 100 lakh crores and 25 lakh crores. There are huge outlays. And we're going to come on that a little bit because the Congress has got panned for, manifesto promises which could sink the fiscal deficit. There are huge outlays promised here as well. Sanjay Jha, it's your turn now. I know the party, the Congress party held a press conference and, broke down their rebuttal to the manifesto point by point. Please don't take that much time, but if you can squeeze in your key points on what you think of the BJP manifesto.
Tamanna, in brief, a very dull, uninspiring manifesto. Let's take an example of agriculture because you started with that. On agriculture, the truth is that this government has again gone ahead and said we will double farmer income by 2022. And I think that's a brazenly misleading statement. When you have grown at 2.9% over the last 5 years, why are you telling the farmers that you're going to grow at 20% over the next 3 years? It's not going to happen, and they should know that. So I think these are, again, pipe dreams being sold. As I said, even, when they talk about, covering people in the PM Kisan Yojana, but that's 6,000 rupees a year. So we have already addressed the problem of that and pensions and more by guaranteeing a cash transfer unconditional of 6,000 per month. So really they have had no creative idea there at all. And the fundamental point, I think, as somebody mentioned, on the insurance scheme is a scam. I'm telling you, private insurance companies have completely creamed the farming community and the government, and it is a failure, and therefore we have categorically said we will revamp the whole thing and probably redo another insurance scheme altogether. On jobs, remarkably silent. I mean, I'm astonished that this is a government that promised 2 crore jobs in the last manifesto 5 years ago, and this time has not a word to say. We have talked about creating a dedicated Ministry of Employment. Now that, I think, is a statement. We have talked about the fact that we will fill all the vacant jobs in the center and the state. All in the center will be done voluntarily by us. The others, where the states are with us, we will make that happen immediately. On the others, we will make sure that the BJP is morally under a compulsion to deliver on vacant jobs that they have not filled for the last several years because they want to save their own fiscal deficit. I think these are very, very critical issues. Okay. And I think on the farming part, I want to make one more point. When we say that we'll have a separate Kisan budget, Tamanna, it is to make sure that the farmers of India are going to be the center force of our economic policy. You can't ignore 70% of India while you are busy serenading some crony capitalists who are getting massive tax waivers and NPA disasters are being quietly concealed. So I think our manifesto really scores by being tangible, measurable, definitive, with budgets outlined, timeframes out there for everyone to see. Okay. I think this manifesto is honestly another manifestation of a very flaky, fictitious, and what we call in our political language as very faku.
Mr. Taneja, your response to that, but I want to start with a specific point about what is the BJP's comeback to the Nyaya scheme. Because they've promised 6,000 rupees a month. You're saying you will extend the PM Kisan scheme, which is for farmers, to a larger subset of farmers. I'm not too clear how you will identify recipients or beneficiaries here either. Is anyone who is officially a farmer going to be beneficiary of the PM Kisan scheme? What if they're very rich farmers with large land holdings? I think some more clarity should come in on that point.
No, I think, our approach is quite different in the sense our approach is more rooted in the reality. We are not Santa Claus. We don't play Santa Claus. And we don't go and fool people, say, all right, I am Santa Claus, you are poor. Look at the advertisements in the press today. Rahul Gandhi ji is looking like an elite and there is a poor looking woman and all that. Rahul ji is Santa Claus. It's insulting that woman, humiliating that poor people. We don't believe in that kind of mindset. I think if you look at our scheme, we are talking solid numbers. We are talking of 5 years of our work. Of course, the Congress is entitled to say whatever they want to say. We have no problem with that. You see, the point is, but at the same time, they can say what they want to say. We are doing our work on the ground. We have come out manifesto, and very soon, within the next few weeks, people are going to deliver their verdict on it. And they are the one, they are the boss, final, ultimate boss. They are going to say whether, the Congress manifesto, which is a piece of fiction, and our manifesto, which is basically talks about the reality on the ground and what we can do for them. So I think, if you really talk about this, they're talking of jobs like today. They've been talking about look, I've been a student of economics, Tamanna. I'm sure you have studied economics. This is a byproduct of economic expansion. When economy expands, jobs are created. That unless you think you believe in the old Nawab of Lucknow, like Imambada, building Imambada, where they build a building to create job and then demolish it and then build it again and demolish it again. Unless you suffer with that kind of medieval mindset, which evidently Congress does. We don't.
Yeah, but,
you see, we're talking of solid economy, and we are talking about how.
Agreed, but Mr. Taneja, I just want to intercept the point you made. You take more than one line. I just wanted to intercept with the point that we do have a phenomenon called jobless growth. We've seen it on for some time now. Which is why the issue of jobs does need addressing. And it's not, the BJP has not in its manifesto specifically talked about jobs, but you've talked about more funding for MSMEs and entrepreneurs and pushing Startup India, which perhaps was your answer. But do you think that in the current situation where poll after poll has shown that jobs is one of the top 2 or 3 issues in front of voters, there could have been a clearer direction on jobs in the manifesto?
You see, the point here is that, robotics and artificial intelligence, these things are developments are, creating new challenges for economies the world over. India is no exception. On that part, we are all in the same page, and we are all in the same boat. But that said, to say that, that there are no jobs being created is very simple. If the economy is what it is today, $2.9 trillion economy, we are targeting by 2025, we want targeting to be, $5 trillion economy by 2030. So we have got a roadmap in place. And give me an example of one country where the economy has expanded without creating jobs. It does happen. Economic growth does happen in vacuum. But of course, Congress can be entitled to, they can come with their arguments. We have no problem in that. And we don't even react to it. Simple reason is we know, we are seeing what's happening on the ground. Congress has failed to organize one rally of the young people without jobs in the entire. They've been talking, but they've not been able to do it. And you can see there is complete social harmony across the country. And the point here I'm trying to make is that, you see, that Santa Claus mindset, because it's a party controlled by a royal family. We are a party where our approach is bottom up. We are the party of the poor. We are party of the middle class. Middle class at the same time. We are building a new India.
I will allow Sanjay Jha to
complete. Let me complete. Let me complete. Can I complete?
Yeah. Okay.
Can I complete?
Okay.
And then
wrap up that
see,
point.
When he speaks, I don't laugh. I don't insult the Congress spokesperson. Can I?
Yes. Complete that point, Mr. Taneja. Complete that point, and then Sanjay Jha will rebut. Please complete that point.
Yeah, but you have to ensure that it's a civilized debate and nobody is laughing. If they want to laugh, convert your show into a comedy and allow me to leave out. To move out, because I don't participate in comedy shows.
Complete your point.
If a participant is laughing, that's uncivilized behavior, and it's anchor responsibility to shut such people out.
Complete your point.
The point I'm trying to make is that they are entitled to their views, and we respect that. Tamanna, they are entitled to their views, and we respect that. And their manifesto, they are entitled to say what they want. The people are the final judge, then they will decide. But as far as we are concerned, insulting people, behaving like a Santa Claus, writing a piece of fiction, calling it manifesto, we think that people are not going to go by that. People will go by the kind of manifesto we have presented, the work that we have done over the 5 years. But as I said, if there's still some people who disagree with us, they have questions, please ask us the question. If you have some critique, please offer it. But if you have nothing to offer, you just come to shows and laugh. Okay. This shows that you don't respect your own people, and this shows the character of the party.
Sanjay Jha respond. Mr. Taneja is very aggrieved with your laughing. I think you should respond in words and make clear, cogent points of criticism if you have any.
I will make that, but I want to answer that statement. I want to let you know, Tamanna, we are a democracy. And if right now you or Rasheed, Kidwai or somebody else decides to smile, snigger, or criticize me or laugh or mock me, that's democracy, by the way. And I have a right to laugh. I don't need anybody's permission on this channel. All right? I don't need anybody threatening the anchor saying you should push them out. This is what India does not need. Let me answer your question very quickly, Tamanna. The truth of the matter is very simple. That
These
you
are
need
bad
to
manners,
walk the
and I
talk.
don't want to participate
And
in
I'm not
people
going to
with no
remind the
manners.
viewers.
Tamanna, allow me to leave.
1 minute.
I
Can
don't
I
want to
speak?
participate
I don't want
with the
to
people
speak
who are
to you. I'm
bad
speaking to
manners.
the
Okay,
anchor.
okay, 1 minute, 1
Can
minute.
I speak to the
One
anchor?
minute, 1 minute. Guys, let's stick to the topic. Listen, let's stick to the topic. We've been civilized. Let's prove.
I quit this debate.
Okay, let's prove.
This man is uncivilized.
One second. Mr. Taneja, calm down. One second.
And what this man does is uncivilized. I refuse to accept it.
1 minute.
He insults his own party.
1 minute.
This man has no manners.
1 minute, Mr. Taneja. 1
I
minute.
refuse to accept it.
Okay.
And therefore, in protest, quit. Because
Okay.
Congress spokesperson is
Okay,
uncivilized.
1 minute.
This is uncivilized.
Let's do one thing. Okay, hang on.
This is the character of this
1
individual.
second, Mr.
Who is
Taneja.
most uncivilized.
Okay,
And I
you've said
protest,
that
I
same
quit.
thing. You've said
Not
the same
Congress
thing.
is okay.
Okay,
This
hang
man
on.
is uncivilized.
Hang
This
on.
man
Can you let me
this
speak,
man
please?
is not fit to be a spokesperson.
Okay.
Congress should throw him out.
Okay, that's
And I quit
their
in
problem.
protest. Such people I don't debate
Can
with.
we prove that we can have a political debate with two spokespersons who will actually stick to the topic? Can we prove that here? Can we flout the norm of the tamasha we're seeing everywhere and actually prove that we can do this? Well, hopefully we can. Sanjay, please continue your point.
Yeah, Tamanna, now let me answer your question. Yeah, so my simple point is this, that when you look at our manifesto, we are talking about increasing Manrega by 100 days to 150. Now, these are tangible steps. One, because we realized employment is a big problem. Rural unemployment, by the way, is reaching epic proportions, and poverty is a big challenge. Now, nobody can deny that if you don't have a clear plan, there is no way that you're actually planning to fail. And I do believe that people have now woken up to the reality that manifestos need to be taken very, very seriously. Because if you look at the last 5 years, Tamanna, everybody's asked this government, where are the 2 crore jobs? Why was my MSP not increased by over 50%? Why is it that at the end of the day, the doubling of farmer income never happened? Why is it that black money was never obliterated and 15 lakhs never came into people's bank accounts? You are actually held to what you said. And I think that's the way it ought to be. So tomorrow, if there's a Congress government in power, and you will have every right to ask me, hey, Sanjay, did you guys deliver on what you said or did you not? And I think let's be honest enough. If you messed up, you messed up. Simple. And by the way, let me tell you, the political arrogance and all this shouting and acrimoniousness and these threats have no meaning. The people are the ultimate people who will exercise their power, not the BJP spokesperson, not me. And Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh was a manifestation of public anger and the public angst as the way they have been betrayed over the last 5 years. But I will look to the future. I am very proud of the manifesto we have put up.
Okay, let's look at how much these manifestos are really going to matter in the electoral game, because Rasheed, Kidwai, at the end of the day, that's the test, and we've seen that in the past manifestos haven't mattered that much to elections. The Congress in that sense upped the game with the detail in their manifesto. I don't know how much they'll be able to communicate it. The BJP has stuck to its core of national security, 370, Article 35A. They've stuck to their promises, Ram Mandir, etc. As a contrast, do you think that Nyay versus national security will be the ultimate choice?
Yes, Tamanna, in some ways we have to see how voters react, because after all, after Pulwama incident and then Balakot, airstrikes, all these things have given Prime Minister Modi an edge, and Congress has come up with this, so to say, very populist scheme of Nyay now, which has potential of attracting large number of people. So whatever be the verdict of the people, we'll only get to know on May 23rd. But this election from the beginning, I've been saying that they have been fought in a very contrasting manner. I mean, BJP has a leader, BJP has a very well-oiled election machinery. It has very good alliances. All these things seem to be going very well for it. But there is a problem because there is a far too many BJP MLAs and MPs are there in various states and across the country. Now there is a potential of this election becoming Prime Minister Modi versus the BJP representatives, and there is a possibility that voter may turn against them and punish a local MP or a sitting MLA, and as a result the Prime Minister Modi may not get the figure that he is hoping for. So this is a real test and a real battle for 2019.
All right, so it is going to be a big fight, and at the end of the day the manifesto might be one factor which influences voters. If at all voters should go out and read what different political parties are promising them, but then that's the voters' job. The politicians' job is to make promises. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on the show today.